Welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And it's a big video here once again surrounding Ousmane Dembele and unfortunately surrounding the condition and the fitness of the French attacker, because once again he has picked up an injury. It is a serious one and I think really it needs discussing. I could have just done a video here just saying that look, he's going to be injured, he's going to be out for quite a big time. That is a bad thing, but I think there's a lot more here that we have to look into. There's questions that undoubtedly have to be asked, and ultimately we need to get to the bottom of this. This needs to be sorted out. It's something that has been going on now since he arrived. He has had injury problems. We need to get to the root of that issue. And in this video, we are going to be discussing Dembele's injury history, what the injury means for him right now, how much time he's going to miss, and of course, the alternatives once he's out, what we can do going forward. But if I just start right here by reading out Barcelona's official statement, which they did release this morning following medical tests that did happen after the game yesterday, when once again Dembele was complaining of discomfort. He came on, of course, against Lyon, subbed on, and then he did have, once again, that feeling after the game that he'd aggravated something, that he'd hurt something, and Barcelona this morning said Ousmane Dembele has undergone tests with the FC Barcelona Medical Services on Thursday morning, and it has now been confirmed that he has torn the femoral bicep muscle in his left hamstring. So last time it was just a strain, this time it's an outright tear in his left hamstring. This means they'll be out of action for an estimated 3 to 4 weeks of action. So undoubtedly there, it's the same leg, it's the same muscle. Before, he had a strain, he was out for a few days, we tried to get him back, he came back too soon, he came on against Lyon when ultimately he shouldn't have done, and now he's out 3 or 4 weeks with a tear in that hamstring. Now straight away, guys, let me give you the facts on this one, simply because Dembele being out for between 3 to 4 weeks means the following in terms of the games that he will miss. He will 110% miss Real Betis away. This is coming this coming weekend at the Benito Villamarín. That's a big game there that he will miss. Then, luckily for us, there's an international break, so he misses a bit of time, but that's not really going to impact us. Following that international break then, Espanyol at home, he will miss. Not such a big issue there. Villarreal away, they're struggling right now, but that still could be a tricky game, and that then would be the 3 weeks out. So technically, if he was out for 3 weeks and then he came back, he'd miss Betis, Espanyol, and then Villarreal. However, if he's out then beyond the 3 weeks, going on to 4 weeks, he will miss 2 potentially crucial games in our season. Atletico Madrid at the Camp Nou is just after that, and following that game, just a few days later, the first leg of our Champions League quarter-final, Dembele is right now a doubt for. But looking ahead instead to the second leg, which will come 1 week after that first leg, that week there could make all the difference. The 16th and the 17th of April is where the second leg of those quarter-finals will take place, and certainly there, as of right now, you'd be expecting Dembele, if rested, if fully right, to be ready for that. And you look at that right now, we're clear in the league, we're comfortable in La Liga, Copa del Rey final. The main priority has always been this season, the Champions League, and when you look at the way we rushed Dembele back, certainly this time around, you've got to say here, we absolutely have to let him fully recover. At no point here should he be returning even 1 day before he should do. Unless he's fit, unless he's feeling 100% like he's recovered, he shouldn't be coming back, even if it does mean that he misses that Atletico game, even if it does mean that he misses the quarter-final first leg. It would be a massive blow, we know that, but at the same time, here and now, with these kind of injuries, you can't mess around, particularly hamstrings. They're either right or they're not. There's no in-between. Dembele came on yesterday, clearly it hadn't fully recovered, and now it's aggravated. We paid the price, and now we have to suffer through those consequences. But I wanted to do this video simply because after this recent injury, obviously now you're going to get a lot of people saying Dembele is injury prone. Dembele is never going to realise his potential. Dembele is not somebody who we need on our team because of this injury problem that, like I say, he has had since he's come in. What I would say on that though, there's a lot of people here talking like being injury prone, receiving a lot of injuries is something that you can never turn around. You can never improve on that. Whether you're injury prone or not, you either are or you aren't. That's not the case. That is absolutely not the case. There are many, many players over the course of history, and when you look closer to home at Barcelona, that have been very injury prone, but it gets better. You can find ways to manage manage it, you can find ways to improve your condition. And you look at Messi, for instance. Early on in his Barcelona career, he was somebody who was extremely injury prone. He used to pick up niggly injury after niggly injury, and he used to suffer a lot with those problems. But a change in certain things, nutrition, the way you train, the way you warm up, the way you stretch, different things like that can have a massive impact, and then later on in your career, you can be absolutely fine. Exactly the same happened with Neymar. He joined Barcelona, he came over from Brazil, he didn't have any injury problems over there. First season in European football, in La Liga, he really struggled with that condition, but again, he turned it around, and he played every game since. And that's the thing with Dembele, he can certainly turn this around, because you look at his time with Rennes, you look at his time with Borussia Dortmund, he was virtually injury-free in those 2 years. You look at his last season with Dortmund before he joined us in that summer, he played 32 out of Dortmund's 34 games in the Bundesliga that season. He was ever present, he was never ever injured. And I think it's not only up to Dembele here, it's simply up to the medical staff at Barcelona. By now, at this stage, after he's been here now for a considerable amount of time, they've got to learn about Dembele, they've got to understand his body, they've got to understand what he needs, what he doesn't need, what he can do, what he can't do. They should be much, much better in terms of advising him. They have to advise him on what he can't do and what he can do, when he should play and when he can't play. The medical team here simply have to do better. Look at yesterday's game. Whether or not they knew that Dembele wasn't quite ready to go into that, they've got to be advising him, they've got to be advising Valverde, they've got to be understanding what Dembele's body can and can't do. And I think right now, they're still not quite getting that. They have to turn that around. Dembele has to look at himself, things that he's doing, things that he's eating, perhaps things that he's doing on and off the field. You've got to look at all the kind of ways that you can make this better. But right now, I think this here wasn't Dembele's fault in the slightest. It was simply a case of rushing him back before he was ready. Which brings me on to my point, should we have brought him on? Should we last night have taken the risk? He came on at 2-1, he played 20 minutes of football, and in that 20 minutes, we scored 3 goals. That is the fact of the matter is. So there's two sides to this. Yes, we brought him on, we risked him, he's injured now for a month, but at the end of the day, we are through. We are into the quarterfinals. Had we got knocked out there, we wouldn't have anything to worry about, so even if he was injured anyway, we've not really got an awful lot to play for in the remainder of our season. But also, on the flip side of that as well, did it have to be Dembele? We needed somebody to stretch Lyon. We needed somebody with a bit of pace to get in behind, and I can certainly understand why you'd risk Dembele, risk it all to reach the quarterfinals. But at the same time, did it have to be him? Could we have also brought on Malcom? Could we have done that instead of risking Dembele, brought on Malcom, who also has pace? Not as much as Dembele, but would it have been enough? Would it have been enough to make the next round? That we will never know, but ultimately here, it's a big loss in Dembele, and we have to make sure now that he's right before he returns. But just on this Malcom thing, because once again, guys, week in, week out, not only me, but we're all saying it, where is Malcom? Why isn't he playing? Why does Valverde really not want to use him in this team? What you have to say now is, surely at some point now, Malcom has got to be getting some serious minutes, simply because, yes, Coutinho came in yesterday, played the first half, he had a good game, he scored a goal, that'll help his confidence no end, but at the same time, in those games that we mentioned that Dembele will miss, you can't play Coutinho every single minute now, because obviously you can't put every pressure on him, you can't put all the demands on him, because if he breaks down, if he gets injured, suddenly then Dembele's out, Coutinho's out, you're massively light in those wider areas. We've got to share it around, you've got to start rotating. This is the kind of stage of the season now where you need to be using your squad and really making some big decisions, and Valverde simply has to start playing Malcom. We won yesterday, it was a fantastic victory, things at Barcelona right now are very, very good, but come on, let's see Malcom in the team now. Dembele is out injured, bring him in, give him some minutes, and I guarantee it will do the team the world of good. And I'm very, very interested in what you think on this, guys, because it's a big, big debate, isn't it? We're in the quarterfinals now, that is absolutely massive for us. We had to get through that game yesterday, and at 2-1, it was going either way, wasn't it? Lyon was certainly putting the pressure on, we had that threat on the break, Dembele brought on, we take the risk, and we do get through. Was it the right decision from Valverde? Was it right to risk Dembele? Could you have used Malcom? Could he have played a similar role in really spearheading our return to dominance in that game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, because I've seen a lot of opinions. I've seen opinions one way and the opinions the other way, and it really does seem now like a split down the middle. It was a tough choice, but that's what it is, a Barcelona coach. You have these big moments, these big decisions, and it's all about making the right ones. But ultimately, we are through to the quarterfinals. Dembeéleé will be back either for the first leg if he returns early, but if not, the second leg certainly. Dembeéleé will be fit and he will be ready, because we are gonna need to be. And so I just wanted to bring you the full picture with Ousmane Dembele, and earlier on today, of course, I did bring you more analysis on that Lyon Barcelona game, which really was lighting up the Camp Nou last night. A lot of positive energy and a lot of good spirits going around right now. That is fantastic to see. I will see you guys very soon indeed for the draw tomorrow. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça!